Hi and welcome to the Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark
and Col. Well, hello there one and all. Hola, konnichiwa, and okai the new too. We're going to proudly present episode 0, our very first one, of the Beatleplaces Podcast, presented by our local guides and podcast host, Mark
and Col.
The Beatleplaces Podcast is going to be, or hopefully will be, your regular slice of Beatleplaces miscellany, celebrating the world's greatest band and all things Liverpool.
Hooray! Very good. And each podcast will enjoy an informal chinwag and several cups of tea, talking about the many places and the people the Beatles knew here in Liverpool in their formative years and the stories behind them. You'll hear many new items, fun features, and a lot of surprising details for all Beatles fans, young and old, and even those in the middle too. Which includes me. It's a fascinating history, and it's our pleasure to tell it. Beatleplaces is about the band and John, Paul, George and Ringo themselves, where they lived, loved, lost, played, dreamed, and a lot more besides. And we hope that if you enjoyed it half as much as we enjoyed making it, then that's twice as much as we expected.
I think we got
Is that right?
Yeah, I think
something
so.
like that.
Yeah,
anyway.
something on a version of that. Yeah.
Right, carry on.
So everyone, relax. Just put your feet up, but not if you're driving or operating forklift truck. And enjoy today's very special episode 0 of Beatleplaces Podcast, live from Liverpool.
Hooray! Round of applause. Well done. Right. After all, this is where it all began.
Yes.
And a splendid time is guaranteed for all. I've heard that before. Somewhere.
Yeah. I think we ought to copyright that before it's too late.
Aye.
Right. So let's do some intros. Who am I?
Well,
Mark, remind me.
I think you're Colin Gardner, aren't you? That's your name.
So in that case, the other guy in the room is Mark Glenister. Hello.
Hey, that's me.
He doesn't look a bit like me.
No.
Hello there, mate.
God for that.
Hello.
Well done. As Col rightly pointed out, he's right, and thank goodness for that. I'm Mark. Hello there, Col, and listeners everywhere.
Caught me in the middle of a cup of tea there.
Very good. It's nice to be here.
Oh, I'm glad.
It's nice to be anywhere, really. Carry on.
So, bit of a short biography here. Now, Mark, if I'm looking at him, and I am right this minute, he's a big Beatles fan, but he's actually a big ELO nut as well. And we've known each other a fairly long time. We met each other when we were working at local hospital radio, which accounts for our professional type voices now you hear it.
Yes.
And we found out what we both like is 60s music, comedy records, and you name it. And we've been mates ever since.
We have. Aye. And indeed, yes, quite right. Like me, Col is a huge Beatles fan, and he's also a writer as well. It was a wee while back when we realised we hadn't explored our own backyard of Merseyside. And so we spent some time visiting all the Beatle places we knew, and then went on to find out even more.
I'm afraid we did, yeah. We went to a few.
Miles and miles we travelled. As a result, Col spent a few years researching and writing even more. And not that long ago, published a book on the thousands of Beatle places we found in Merseyside and a little beyond. The clever lad called the book Beatleplaces.
I just thought that was catchy.
Very original.
What do you think?
Well done. Have a biscuit. As well as a Beatleplaces Instagram page and a website, and this year released another Beatles book about the Beatles family trees.
Oh, it did, now you mention it, yeah.
Called Beatle Family Trees, of all things. He's been quite a busy little
I
lad.
am, yeah, and there's hardly any time for anything else. So we're going to do this now. We're going to do a Beatles podcast, and it's our very first one. So we're going to talk about all the things we've found out and all the fun we've had, and maybe a bit more besides. So stay tuned.
Aye. So welcome one and all to the Beatles podcast. Cheers.
So, in this episode, let me tell you, we're going to have regular features every time we have an episode, and as well as regular tantrums. We're going to have the Beatles trivia quiz, which is what Mark's going to do, and let's see how good you are today with that. We're also going to have the Beatleplaces album guide to the Fab Four. So we're going to look at one of their albums or greatest albums, and we're going to talk about what was said about it, what were the facts and figures about that album.
Yeah.
Mark's going to be looking at this month in Beatle history, and we're going to look at all the years of the career path of the Beatles. We're going to look at one month in particular, and you never know what's going to be. Mark will tell you more. And also we're going to do the Beatles book review, where we're going to just pick one or two of those worthwhile reads, maybe not so worthwhile reads, and we'll talk about it. We'll just tell you what we think about it honestly, and we're going to have no filters. We're just going to say what we think.
Aye, quite right.
So and also, because I've got lots of books here, and I wrote one as well, we're going to have a special feature or two. So this week, and this particular episode, we're going to look at John Lennon and the New Zealand connection. New Zealand, you say?
New Zealand?
Yeah, so there you go. So on with the motley.
Wow.
So here's the man who got specially dressed for the first edition podcast.
Hey.
Sat there in his lucky lederhosen outfit. It's our Mark.
You're not supposed to tell him that. Yeah. Well, right, we've got a bit of a quiz now, a Beatleplaces trivia quiz, where we've got quite a few interesting bits and pieces, and I'm going to tax Col's brain as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, so, even I don't know what's coming next. I hope.
Brace yourself. Right, here we go. Question number one of three trivia quiz questions. Right, here we go. Eyes down, look in. When the Beatles recorded their audition tape for Decca, on January the 1st, 1962, Mike Smith, the assistant to Dick Rowe, who was the A&R man for Decca, was told that he could only pick one group of the two he auditioned on that day. Now, what was the name of the other group, apart from the Beatles, that played that day?
Okay.
Anybody know? Right. So that's the first question.
Nice.
Answers coming up later on, so don't go home yet. Question 2. Right, on Stanley Street there is a statue by Tommy Steele of Eleanor Rigby.
By the way, Stanley Street, listeners, is a place in Liverpool.
It is indeed, yeah. Where on the corner they bought some of their instruments from
Hesse's.
From Hesse's. Right, so Tommy Steele, the well-known singer, dancer, actor and everything, been going for years and years and years, he did a statue of Eleanor Rigby which he gave to the city for, and in brackets, half a sixpence.
Did he?
Okay, yeah, he did. But what had he placed inside the statue? He put something inside it, a few things. So he's put some things inside the statue, and it's nice little things he's put in. So I'll tell you what they are a bit later on.
Okay.
And finally, a dead easy one. You must get this one. What happened on Saturday, the 6th of July, 1957? Anybody know that one?
I can't remember what I did this Saturday, never mind then. But, okay, so read that one out again, just the last bit.
I'll read it, the last bit again.
What's the date?
So question 3, dead easy question. What happened on Saturday, the 6th of July, 1957?
57. Okay. So everyone tune
Quite
into
a few years ago.
Yeah. So,
stop looking at me answers now.
I can read upside down.
I'll turn the page over. There you go. You're stuck now.
I've got my special see-through glasses on here.
Right.
Okay. Cheers, Mark.
Okay. Coming to a pair of ears near you every now and then, it's the Beatleplaces Podcast. Righto. Let's see who can get them, and meanwhile, it's over to Col for our next feature, the Beatleplaces album guide.
Cheers, mate.
There you go.
You can have another cup of tea now.
Oh, thank you.
So what we're going to do, there's a regular feature, we're going to feature of all words, and it's about the Beatleplaces albums. You know how many albums the Beatles officially made, so we're going to look at one or two of them each time, and we'll talk about the facts and figures of the album. The first album is going to get a mention, their very first album, and in this episode we're looking at their very first album, Please Please Me. And it was a heck of an album as well. So it was recorded by Parlophone on the 11th of February 1963. It was released 22nd of March 1963 in the UK. Well, as far as I can work out, the total day's costs amounted to about £400 to produce it.
Wow, that much.
I mean, my car MOT was more than that, but anyway. So each Beatle got about £22 and 10 shillings in old money to them, because they were under musicians' union fees at the time for that day's work, and it was literally a day's work. Not much more than that. A few extra things were done later, but essentially one whole day. So each Beatle got that much to go with. The recording itself began at 10 a.m. and then they bothered with 11 tracks. They recorded 11 tracks, which they recorded and finished the same day at about 10:45 in the evening. And that amounts to, as somebody did, probably Mark Lewison's worked this one out, about 580 odd minutes in toto. So producer George Martin was quite impressed with the band anyway, and he liked them, as far as we can tell. Anyways, and he remarked at the time how grueling the whole session was, but he noticed that they got better the more they played, and he didn't know how they did it. So wow. So you already know, if you've bought the record or you've got a fascination with the vinyl thing, that there was a stereo and a mono version issued respectively, and it was recorded. Are you ready for this? It was only recorded on 2 tracks. I know Sgt. Pepper was recorded on 4 with some help, but 2 tracks is it's good going if you can do it. So the album, of course, if you've ever bothered to count, if you've got a vinyl version in front of you, it's got 14 tracks on it, so none of which goes over 3 minutes long, and that includes Please Please Me, Love Me Do, and Twist and Shout. They also recorded an extra version which never appeared on the album called Hold Me Tight, which turned up on album 2. It was left off for reasons I don't know. I'm sorry, Mark, I don't know.
No, we'll have to find that out, won't we?
Well, you can write to them, but I don't think they're going to answer you back. The album length in total was 32 minutes and 45 seconds. So it did get good reviews straight away, no question about that. The British press thought it was surprisingly good, and that's good enough for me. So the closing track of the album was Twist and Shout, famously known as, and it was recommended by a local journalist, a fella from Birkenhead called Alan Smith, and I've been to his house, by the way. Yeah. And he was a music journalist who had moved from local journalism, like Derek Taylor, and he'd gone to work in London for the New Musical Express, the big music press newspaper. I suppose it is still a newspaper after all said and done. And it was a weekly newspaper which reported on all the news. So it was a big deal, but Alan Smith was their contact in London for music and press and PR, and he really helped them along. And I'll tell you more about him another time. So he went to visit them in Abbey Road, and when he was chatting to the band between cups of tea, he reminded Paul, I think it was, how lively one of the songs they did at the Cavern was, but he couldn't quite remember the name of it. So he wasn't sure if it was something to do with, well, as far as he knew, he couldn't quite remember it. But he said it had a Latin feel to it, and they reminded him that it was Twist and Shout. And so they considered it, and in no time at all, they put that on. And it is a cracker of a song, and it still sounds great now.
That's the one he had to leave till the very end, wasn't it?
Because he was going to rag his voice,
protect
wasn't he?
his voice till the last one, and you can tell he's had enough by the end of that song, I think.
You can hear it. But he did 2 versions of it, though. He had 2 goes at it, if you didn't know that. There's a song on there called Misery, which I really used. You remember me playing that years ago a lot?
Oh,
it made you miserable, I realise. But
still recovering.
The song on there was a song on there called Misery. Not so much a hit single, but it's a nice song, and it was intended for one of the touring aficionados. Somebody they were toured with, a lady called Helen Shapiro, was recommended to have a go at recording it, and she turned it down. Don't know why. But another guy on this particular package tour they did in 1963 was a fella called Kenny Lynch, and he had a go, and he became the very first person to ever cover a Beatles song. It's quite an astounding fact when you think about how many more have happened since. So Kenny Lynch himself, if you don't know the guy, there's 2 facts about him you should know. One is he wrote Sha-La-La-La-Lee for the Small Faces. I bet you're going to start singing it now, Mark, aren't you?
In my head.
Yeah.
It's going in my head, yeah.
And if you look on Paul's album for Band on the Run, he's on the cover. So he's in there too. Kenny Lynch is the fella's name, so look out for him. And final bits and pieces about the album, Please Please Me, was the album cover of the band leaning over a balcony was a big tower block building called the EMI Headquarters building in London. And it was first suggested that they do an album cover based in the London Zoo. And stupidly, London Zoo turned them down. So even Brian Epstein... or Epstein, I never get that quite right.
No, I don't know which is the right way.
You know, because I know people who are Epsteins and Epsteins, and I always that don't seem to mind. No. Then Brian Steinstein. I've lost my train of thought now.
Carry on.
But he suggested being photographed outside Abbey Road Studios. Ring a bell? And again, the EMI heads said no, and they were not interested in that. So they just decided to photograph the band leaning over the balcony of EMI headquarters, and that was good enough. Turns out the building itself was demolished in years later, not at the time. And but the balcony wisely was kept and has been sort of archived, let's put it that way. So there's the album, a strange first album, great first album, Please Please Me by the Beatles.
Well done. Excellent. Right, now we are doing This Month in Beatles History. Just a couple of lines about what happened years and years ago on different months of the years that the Beatles were knocking about.
Is that an official phrase?
Knocking about?
Knocking about.
Oh, aye. In every Beatles podcast we feature This Month in Beatles History. It gives us a sense of how the band developed over the years, what they were up to, what they did when they weren't playing the music, and their private lives as well. And this month, we're going to feature the month of June, because it's June now. And we'll look at the years 1963 and 1966.
Go right ahead.
Here on my piece of paper, there we have June the 18th, 1963. What happened then? Any idea? It was Paul's 21st birthday.
Oh, and it's coming up soon, isn't it, really?
It is, yeah.
His new one.
It was held in a marquee in Auntie Gin's house.
In Huyton.
In Huyton.
Dina's Lane.
Dina's Lane, 147 Dina's Lane.
I've been there as well.
Aye. So he was 21. It's the same date as my dad's birthday as well, June the 18th. And somebody else we know as well. I'll tell you later. So we'll go forward 3 years to 1966. But back a day to June the 17th. So 1966, June the 17th. So considering what's happened, 62, 63, 3 years have passed, and Paul McCartney decides to buy a 183-acre dairy farm in Machrihanish in Kintyre, Scotland.
Like you do.
Like you do, 3 years after you just started being famous, by an enormous dairy farm, which... he still has.
In the Mull of Kintyre.
In the Mull of Kintyre, which is after the song. Or the song is after the Mull of Kintyre. So that's two interesting things involving Paul McCartney. From 1963, June the 18th, when he was 21. And 1966, June the 17th, when he bought a farm. As you do every day.
I was only shopping the other day thinking it's about time I went on eBay.
And bought a farm.
Yeah. Yeah. Slight issue with the finances.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. So more to come on This Month in Beatles History a bit later on in another episode.
All right, cheers, Mark. Thanks, mate.
Hey up, are you 13 amp? Even if you're not, it's Beatleplaces Podcast time, folks.
So, what's next? I think what's next is our next regular feature, and it's my turn now, and I'm going to tell you it's time to settle down with a good book, because we're going to look at the Beatles book review. I'm going to consider one of the books I've got, Mark will too. So let's just say what we can do. We can talk about one of the Beatles books we've got, and I've got zillions of them. I don't know about you, Mark.
I have. Yeah, I keep finding them all over the place. I don't remember buying that. I've got it.
Well, that's the thing about Beatles books. It's another aspect, it's another point of view, it's another author, and some are great, some are terrible, but the best ones, I think, we'll start with some good ones, just to help you along, and that way you can avoid the bad ones. And well, it does what it says on the tin, this review. We're just going to look at what there is. And let's see how it is. The book I'm mentioning is this one. I'm showing it to Mark.
Right.
Look, pages. Ooh.
And also, I was thinking, are they all still published, these books? Can you still get hold of them?
Yeah. The good news is I'm talking about available books at the moment. Some I've got a rare. Some stopped being published yonks back.
Yeah, others, like this one we will come to in a minute, has been published and republished 100 times. So as far as I know, it's still available. So
all right. Well, the other thing is there's certain websites where you can buy old books that are antiquarian. Let's put it that way.
Oh, very
That's
good.
a big score.
It's a big word.
Yeah, big score in Scrabble.
Aye.
So this isn't an old book. It's a newish book. It's been out 10 years, but it's available. It's called The Rough Guide to the Beatles. It's a chunky little number.
It is.
And,
very nice.
It's by a fellow called
Chris Ingham.
Chris Ingham, yeah, who we don't know well.
No, I've never heard of him, to be honest.
But wow, he's done a great job, really good job. And what I like is, let's imagine you've just got a point, you want to read up something about the Beatles, and anything might take your fancy. Well, this book contains the story of the Beatles, the songs of the Beatles, analysed and emphasised, and the solo years of the Beatles. So it's a really good retrospective of what they were like as the band. The background is covered in a lot of ways, and then they do post-Beatles stuff. So it's excellent. The pictures are in there with an awful lot to remind you what they've done. They did an awful lot in less than 10 years. And when they did their post-Beatles gear, again, there's some interesting reviews. All the tracks of each album are listed, and they mention certain aspects of what's in them and how they were influenced. Of course, they cover, the beginnings of the band, and they talk about things like the gossip and the rumour of what happened to Beatles, who wasn't on a Beatles album when they should have been, what happened with Brian Epstein and John Lennon. That's always been wondered. Paul is dead. Remember that one?
Oh, aye.
Well, I've covered that particular one in my book, so
right.
that's a load of codswallop anyway. But luckily, Chris Ingham's covered a lot of ground with this very short tome.
Who is Chris Ingham, by the way? Do you know?
He's a music journalist that I know of. But luckily, he's thinking exactly how I'd want to read a book, which is give me the background, give me the pre-story, give me the sort of success phase, talk about things like he talks about Liverpool in a big way, which is exactly what you and I have done.
Right.
And take it as far as you can. So basically, it's a tour guide, it's a record review, there's a lot of things about the albums are covered, the movies are covered in a certain amount of detail. I just like it. And the indexing helps a lot, because you never know who's responsible for what sometimes. And of course, at the end, he gives you the best Beatles websites, and it's an old book, so ours isn't on it just yet, but it'll end up there.
One day, if we send him enough money.
If we're any cop.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There's a check in the post.
That's the book. It's available in all good bookshops. It probably cost me about £5-6 to buy, which I got second hand. And it's Chris Ingham. It's on Rough Guide Books, Penguin Publishers, and the price of the book that I can see is £11, and a bit more in America and Canada.
Probably gone up a bit now.
And it might have gone up. It's brilliant. It's very good if you want to grab everything there is to know and become a blagger of the Beatles. It's what I call a bog book.
Very good.
So you could read it.
I can see you've been reading it in the bath by the look of the pages.
Actually, really, the
They've
bath.
gone all crinkly.
Oh, there's me flannel.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mark is going to do his review of his book.
Right.
And what's the book, Mark?
And my book is called The Beatles Liverpool, a complete guide, written by a fellow called Ron Jones. And back in the 70s, Ron was Deputy Public Relations Officer for Liverpool. And in 1974, he produced the Beatles collection, From Liverpool to the World souvenir pack, the first of what was to become an extensive range of Beatle items. And he then became head of tourism for Liverpool and Merseyside, and he introduced trained Beatle guides, the guided coach tour.
Oh, the ones we see now?
Yep, yeah, the Magical Mystery Tour. He started all that lot.
Good for him.
He was instrumental in helping Bob Wooler and Alan Williams get the first Beatle convention off the ground in 1977.
I went to that.
And he's done lots of other things as well. He also worked for Liverpool University, so my wife says. And he at the moment, well, there is a website which I'll have to check up on, the Merseyside Photo Library, www.merseysidefotolibrary.com, where he has lots of cityscapes photographs and all sorts of bits and things. A nice picture of him on the back there with posing with his guitar.
When in his younger days.
And when you open the book to begin with, this is a later edition from one of the two I've got. So this one was updated in 2008, but it was first published in 1991. And there's a nice open the first cover, and there's a map. You can travel around the whole of Liverpool city centre with all the numbers down the side. You go from number 1 to number 2, 3, 4, and it takes you around the whole bit of central Liverpool where they played, the pubs they drank at, the schools, Keep Cathedral, the Blue Angel Club, Nems, Rushworths, Hesse's, Cavern Quarter, and then there's little bits and pieces further on in the book where he gives you a bit more detailed information about every little piece that you come to, like the town hall in Water Street, where these Beatles had the civic reception on the 10th of July 1964, and further on in the book, pictures of the College of Art, where John went to school. Well, not school, but to college.
It was called a regional Liverpool Regional Art College. That was the official title of it.
Well done. And the picture here of the April 1956 of various people in this huge picture there.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a picture of Ivan Vaughan.
Oh, God bless him.
His boyhood friend. There's Peter Sissons, the television news reader.
Yeah, British guy, yeah.
There's the late Alan Dusty Durband, the chairman of the Empire Theatre, who became that as well. There's George Harrison. There's Les Chadwick, who played bass with Jerry and the Pacemakers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 famous people in one photograph.
Well,
what a year that was.
Yeah, yeah.
This book has got lots of nice colour photographs as well. Pictures of Speke Hall, where George first met John and the Quarrymen. There's pictures of Paul's house and Western Avenue, Strawberry Fields Gates.
So does it in terms of being a tourist, would it be the essential buy, or would they grasp a lot and do a lot with it?
Oh, I would say it's the thing to have, really, because it's not a big book. It's just a handy slip in your pocket. There's an index at the back, so if you get a bit lost, you can find
That's a good place to have a map.
Yeah, and also there's some of the songs as well that they wrote. So, for instance, in Percy Phillips' studio in Kensington,
in Liverpool,
they recorded, the Liverpool one, recorded their first record for £1, In Spite of All the Danger. Yeah. That's what it was called. So I would say this book is the thing to have, really, if you're walking around, you're doing a bit of a walking tour around Liverpool. And also, if you come over to the posh side of the water, the Wirral.
It's not that posh.
No, but that's
it's
where
always
we are now.
supposed
You've got to build yourself up a bit, haven't you?
You just want your house prices to go up.
There's a bit of a tour around the world as well. Called the Magical History Tour, he's called it. So I would say when I bought this book back in 2008, which it's kept in good condition really.
Yeah.
£6.95. So there must be a new version of it out now. I'll have to have a look and see. But I would recommend that. The Beatles Liverpool, The Complete Guide by Ron Jones. Go out and buy it now.
Yes, boss.
Okay.
Cheers, Mark.
Super.
Always useful. I mean, to be fair, we've done the Beatleplaces, which is like a couple of thousand more places they can even venture to. But I think mine's more of a sort of a compendium of stuff, which is Ron Jones. Ron Jones might have been an inspiration. I didn't realise it. So that's a really good book.
Hi.
Thanks, Mark.
Super.
So now it's time to hark back to those original questions Mark gave you earlier for the Beatle Trivia Quiz. Let's remind ourselves what they are. Let's hear from Mark.
Beatleplaces Podcast. A splendid time is guaranteed for all. And we've got the receipt to prove it. Right. Here we are then. The Beatles Quiz. Questions 1, 2 and 3. Here we go.
In that order.
I asked you. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I can do the third one second and the first
Oh, don't
one.
do that. That'll just confuse me.
It's confused me. Where am I? Right. Question number 1 was, when the Beatles recorded their audition tape for Decca on January the 1st, 1962, a nice cold day, Mike Smith, the assistant to Dick Rowe, who was the A&R man for Decca, was told he could only pick one group of the two that he auditioned that day. Now, who was the other group that played? Any idea? It was Brian Poole and the Tremolos.
Tremolos, yeah.
It's all coming back now, is
Yes,
it? You
I'm
remember?
afraid so.
Yeah. So Brian Poole and the Tremolos were the ones that got the recording contract that day. The Beatles were said, no, thank you, not today.
Not one of the wisest moves
No,
the
not
record
really.
company's ever made.
But still, Brian Poole and the Tremolos, not a bad group at all.
No, they had 3 hits. That was good enough.
Right, and question number 2, we come back, advance quite a few years, to Tommy Steele and his statue of Eleanor Rigby, which he made himself. It's on Stanley Street in Liverpool, quite a famous street, and he gave it to the city for the price of half a sixpence, which is the name of one of his musicals he made in 1960 something or other.
I'll sing it if you want.
No, thank you.
Okay.
But he placed some things inside the statue, which as a sort of, I don't know what you call
Memento.
it. A memento or a hidden thing to be found in later
it's
years.
A bit like
maybe.
it's a bit like in the fashion of the Beatles statues on the Pier Head. They've got hidden things in them as well. We'll talk about that another day.
Right.
But we'll talk about that. So Tommy Steele statue.
Yeah, right.
Don't know.
Okay, so he put some things in it, and the first one was a 4-leaf clover for luck. He put a page from the Bible for spiritual help. He put a sonnet for lovers in it. I don't know who the sonnet was by. Let's say Shakespeare, I don't know.
I guess so, yeah.
And also an adventure book for excitement, and a pair of football boots as well for excitement.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you don't like the book, you can always kick it
Yeah.
down
So
the street.
I didn't know he'd put those things in.
Well,
Maybe years ago I thought I knew what he'd
yeah.
put something in it, but I'd forgotten all about it.
we go round town and see so many Beatle places anyway. I
it
work
for a bit,
near the town hall, and I think of the Beatles on the balcony all the time when I go past there. It can't be helped.
Do you wave?
Nobody waves
Nobody
back.
there?
The window cleaner waves back, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But the Tommy Steele thing, I never knew.
Yeah.
I never knew a thing. But we go past that one a lot as well, don't we?
Yeah. And lots of people get the photograph taken next to it because she sat on a bench with feeding some pigeons, I think.
Well, yeah, it's meant to be Eleanor Rigby, isn't it? By another name, but yeah. Oh, it was one of the first Beatles statues I can remember as a kid.
Yeah.
And there's a few others out there now, but yeah, okay.
Very good. And finally, a dead easy question, which I think you're pondering, aren't you? Ponder. I can hear you pondering.
That's me pondering, folks.
Right. What happened on Saturday, the 6th of July, 1957? There's a bit of a clue.
I think you mentioned it before. Is it the Percy Phillips visit?
No, it wasn't. No. Saturday. What happens on a Saturday?
Fate.
During the summertime?
Fetes. We have annual fetes in gardens, garden fetes.
Yep, that's what happened. Saturday, 6th of July, 1957, was when John met Paul at St. Peter's Church in Woolton at the garden fete, or the church fete. That's when they first met for the first time. Paul saw John singing on the back of a truck.
Oh no, he was in a field by then.
Oh, it was in a field
by then. And we've been to that field.
Aye.
Because it's just a field.
Yeah, just a field now.
No, yeah.
And when he first met him, he said John's beery breath.
He was, yeah. Well, he met him afterwards. He met up in the hall across the road from the church. So a bit of a day that. Yeah, famous. How come I didn't remember that? I don't know. But thanks, Mark.
So there we go.
So that's it.
And we're done. Right, we're very nearly there. It's time for Col to go to tonight's featured topic, which is taken from his Beatleplaces book by his good self. It's about John Lennon and his New Zealand connection. All yours, Col.
God bless you. Cheers, Mark. That's what we do. We're going to do another feature now, and it's a regular feature where we're just going to pick something out of the book that I've researched called Beatleplaces, giving it a slight plug. And I looked up a lot of stuff to do with John Lennon and his family, and you can't help but find out stuff on the internet and through various sort of ancestry type websites that you can get a lot of information. And what I've found out is the following. John Lennon had a connection with New Zealand. So it's been written but never proven that John Lennon's father, Fred, contemplated moving to New Zealand with his son around 1946, the summer of 1946. But this aside, there's been no known family ties out in Australia or New Zealand. But if you follow the maternal line of John's family through the Stanley family surname, there's quite a few. And here's the story. So John's maternal grandmother was a lady called Annie Stanley, previously known as Millwood. And she was born in Chester, which is in Cheshire, in 1873. She married a fellow called George Stanley. And between them, they raised 4 daughters, which included Julia, John's mum, and Mary, which is his famous Auntie Mimi. The Millwood family moved to Liverpool around the mid-1870s, and in addition to Annie, she had a sister called Harriet, and she was born in 1878. The Millwood family lived in the middle of Liverpool, somewhere called Kent Square. I don't know if you know Kent Square that well.
I haven't heard of it, to be honest.
It's like it was where the old tenements used to be. It's all been flattened now, made nicer. But the family, the Millwood family from Chester, lived there until about 1901. So in 1903, Harriet Millwood married a fellow called Patrick Matthews. And he came from Ireland, so there's an Irish connection there already. So he came from Knockdonoon in Dunleer in County Meath. And they lived in a place called Everton, based in the middle of Liverpool, a suburb of Liverpool. And that street is now gone, a street called 18 Bismarck Street, if you want some facts, folks. So they had their first baby, a fellow called Patrick James Matthews, in 1909. But when he was aged 9 months old, he and the whole family just emigrated to New Zealand. So they left for London and they got on board the SS Athenic down in Southampton, and they ended up in Morrisville, Masterton in Wellington, New Zealand. And they certainly prospered down in New Zealand because the family raised 9 extra kids, and it's likely that after the Matthews move, Harriet Matthews kept up correspondence with her sister Annie back in Liverpool, and years later Auntie Mimi kept up the correspondence, but this time with the baby 9 months old who went away, who'd now grown up, and it was her cousin Patrick. So they kept in touch, though they never ever met. So he lived in a place called, here we go, got a drum roll, Mark, I'm going to pronounce this, Pahiatua Manawatu Wanganui in New Zealand. Any good?
Excellent.
Thanks. Well, Patrick himself had 4 kids. And so there was a lot of stuff going on about that, but there was never likely to be a reunion of the family because there'd been some dissension with the family through religion. The husband, Patrick Matthews, was a Catholic, and the Millwood family were staunchly Presbyterian, Welsh Presbyterians, if you need to know the facts. So fast forward, Mark, to 1964, the height of Beatlemania.
All right.
And the Beatles were on world tour. And of course, where did they go? But the Far East. And they took in Hong Kong, Australia and New Zealand. So they arrived in New Zealand for a week of gigs around June 1964. And a week earlier, John had paid for his Auntie Mimi to get over there by plane and meet up with those long lost, never met relatives out in a place called Levin, New Zealand, eh? Who'd have thought?
Just say Levin, New Zealand.
Levin in New Zealand. So she stayed there with her family and cousins, somebody called Annie Parker, part of the Matthews family, and a lot of kids. And those kids, though distant, they all were related to John Lennon one way or another. So what Aunt Mimi did very kindly was she gave them all tickets to go and see the gigs in the afternoon at the local town hall, and it must have made their day. If you look on the internet, you do see pictures of John with his New Zealand family, kith and kin. And so what they would be, if you look at their lineage, they would be second cousins, and anyway, fair enough. But there is a connection.
A big family anyway, isn't it, by the sound of it?
The Beatles, of course, had to come back for more stuff and business back in the UK, and they came back in June. But Auntie Mimi stayed for quite a few weeks after that, and she returned home and kept in touch with the New Zealand family right up until 1980. And I didn't know an awful lot about that, apart from not being able to pronounce the names. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. You wouldn't think that, people like that on the other side of the world would be related to John Lennon, but
yeah, well,
there you go.
Yeah, I mean, what I'll cover in a future podcast will be the family trees, and you'll be surprised that Ringo has a more. They always said Ringo never had a direct Irish connection. Well, I found one.
Uh-huh.
And George had a lot of interesting family from Ireland as well. Big story about George and his Irish roots there. Paul, of course, had Irish roots, as did John. And they, conveniently, they all kind of happened in the 1800s. So we'll cover that another time under Beatle family tree stuff.
Excellent.
I'll mention it next time.
Jolly good.
So there we are. We're all done and dusted.
Right, we're all sorted.
Hope you've enjoyed the features. Thanks for helping out, Mark.
That's okay.
So
we did all right, I think. Not too bad. Didn't drone on too long. Nobody's died, as far as I know. Just hope we passed the audition.
Oh yes. Yeah, thank you very much.
Who else has said that? So if you like it, get in touch, and we'll do another one. And if you don't get in touch, we're going to do one anyway. Yes. So we'll give you some details of how to get in touch with us at the end.
Meanwhile, time for a quick advert. There's a book out called Beatleplaces Podcast by me, Beatleplaces Podcast, which I wrote. I writ it a little while ago, so that's available, and I'll put some details up online on the podcast info, just to give you an idea amongst all the many other books that there are. So now it's time, I'm afraid, sorry Mark, to twinkle our pips. And we'll be back soon enough though, I think, with yet another one of these things, and for your wonderment and delectation with all those features we've already featured. And next time...
Aye. So, the girlfriends and the girlfriends and girlfriends of the Beatles, lots of surprises in that.
So we're going to look at a feature about
what they've been up to. Yeah.
And I mentioned just now we're going to look at something to do with the family trees of the Beatles before the Fab Four.
So in the meantime, remember, we don't take ourselves too seriously. I hope you don't either. Oh,
no,
you're not.
So
no. Oh well, never mind.
So that's enough of me.
And that's enough of him.
Ta-ra.
Ta-ra for now.
Yeah.
Goodbye.